Hey guys, so making these easy homemade toffee bars is so easy and it's simple ingredients. Most of them you probably already have at home. And what you're going to need to make these toffee bars is 1 cup of butter. So it's 2 sticks of butter that you're going to have to soften. You're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar packed, 1 egg yolk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, half a cup of milk chocolate. I'm just using milk chocolate chips, but you can get like a milk chocolate candy bar if you want and break it up, whatever you like. And half a cup of nuts. I'm doing pecans because I think it goes really well with the brown sugar. And then you need 2 cups of flour. And that's it. Those are the ingredients to make these super easy homemade toffee bars. Get your oven preheating at 350, and you're going to take a 13 by 9 by 2 inch baking dish. This is just a glass Pyrex. If you have a Corningware that's the same size, that'll work also. But the glass for me is my favorite. And you're going to want to grease this with either butter or Crisco. I just use olive oil. I just take my olive oil, I drizzle some in there, and I just take my silicone brush and I just spread that all around and I just grease it like this. My husband, when he does baking, he prefers Crisco, but I don't know. I open a jar of Crisco and it just doesn't look appealing to me. So I just always use olive oil. And in most recipes where you have to use vegetable oil for baking, I just use olive oil. I use olive oil for everything. I don't even use vegetable oil for baking. All right. The only other oil that I use is to make homemade popcorn on the stove, and that's peanut oil. Because I feel like when I use olive oil, it kind of has like a little bit of like a burn taste, but this is good. Okay, so set your greased dish aside, and now we are going to get started mixing the ingredients. Okay, so you're going to start by adding the 2 sticks of softened butter. Or 1 cup of butter, depending on how you buy your butter. And you can actually do this with margarine too, if you like. So you would just need a cup of margarine. But if you're using just standard sticks of butter, it's 2 sticks of butter. You're going to add your 1 cup of packed brown sugar. If I can get it out, there we go. You're going to add 1 egg yolk. And you're going to add, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And you're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And that is it. So now take all this and just give this a good mix. Get it all well blended. You can use your electric mixer, but I'm just going to use this whisk, and they come out perfectly. Just break up any lumps of brown sugar. Sometimes there's like little lumps of molasses in there. Just break those up. And if you want, you can come in with a fork. See that? That was a lump of sugar right there. I'm going to get rid of the whisk, and I'm going to come in with a fork. And just break up any lumps of brown sugar. All right, I think that's good. All right, now you're gonna sift in the 2 cups of flour. There we go. Just sift these in. See that? All right. And now just come in with your fork Start mixing this all together and just get everything well incorporated. And then you're going to be ready to get it in the pan. I'm telling you, these things could not be easier. Little by little, as you mix, it's going to start pulling together, kind of like a cookie dough. It is like a cookie dough. So just work it with the fork, and little by little, all that loose flour is going to start getting combined. Just want to scrape the sides of the bowl down. Scrape the bottom up. Okay. All right, so this is good. So now you're going to take this toffee dough, I'm calling it toffee dough, and you're going to press it down into your baking dish. Plop the dough into your baking dish, just like this. You're just going to press this into the baking dish as evenly as possible. So what I'm going to do is just go around to make these nice and flat and even. I think my cutting board is getting warped because all of a sudden it started making noises as if it wasn't even. And I've had this cutting board for, I don't know, probably 15 years or so. It was a Christmas gift from a customer when I used to work at one of my former companies. And you know what? I appreciate functional gifts because this is a really good quality cutting board and I've had it for a long time and I absolutely love this cutting board. Once you have this pressed down evenly in the bottom, you're going to pop this in the oven at 350 and you're going to bake it for 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to pop this in the oven 30 minutes and I will see you in 30 minutes for the last two simple steps. Okay guys, so this just came out of the oven. It was in there for 30 minutes and it has a nice light brown color. It smells heavenly. And if you touch this, it's going to be soft. These are going to set up as they cool. But what you want to do immediately once you take it out of the oven is take your half a cup of milk chocolate. I'm using half a cup of milk chocolate chips. And you're just going to spread those all around, sprinkle it all around. If you're using a chocolate bar, like a Hershey's milk chocolate bar or something, then just break it up in pieces and just spread it around. And it's going to start to melt with the heat from the toffee bars. So once it starts to melt, you're going to get your little silicone spatula and you're going to spread the chocolate all around as evenly as possible. So let that sit for a minute. And one thing, if you like a softer cookie, not so crisp or firm, you can just reduce the baking time by 5 minutes and do 25 minutes. And you'll have more of a chewier bar as opposed to a crispy cookie bar. All right, so I have my spatula. I'm just waiting for this to start melting. See, they're starting to melt already. See that? Let it sit for a little longer. And we're going to take the spatula, and you can add more chocolate if you want, but half a cup is plenty. All right, so this should be melted enough. Yeah, look at that. See that? Yum. So we're going to start spreading this chocolate around. You just want a little tiny, just little chocolate on top of the bars. You don't need you can make a thick layer of chocolate if you want, but it's really not necessary. You just want enough for a little bit of chocolate in every bite and enough for the pecans to stick. Oops. some of this over here. All right, and now spread the chocolate. And now what you want to do is take your nuts. You could do walnuts if you like. You could do peanuts. I personally prefer the pecans. They're like a nice mild flavor and it goes well with the brown sugar. Love that. All right. Perfect. Now you want to cut these into little squares while they're still warm. I'm going to go just with a butter knife. These are still soft, so you don't need anything sharp to cut into them. A butter knife goes right through. That's it. So these are done. Now you just need to let them cool. So I am going to put them on the stove, some air underneath to help them cool. And we have a simple, easy homemade dessert. Once they're cool, I'm going to show you what they look like when you take them out of the pan. So I'll see you in about 20-30 minutes because you want these completely cooled. Okay, so these are completely cool and I'm just popping them out of the pan and they should come out super easy. And if any of them happen to stick a little bit in the middle or something, then just use a metal spatula to just go in underneath and scrape them up. But they should come out pretty easy. Okay, there we have them, guys. Homemade toffee bars. Look at that. Okay, ready? Let's take a bite. Those are good. Really good. They almost remind me, if you like toffee and caramel and all those type of flavors, then you're going to love these. They're like crispy. It's like eating a toffee cookie. They kind of give me, whenever I eat these, it reminds me of those, what are they called? They're called turtles, where it's like caramel and pecan and chocolate. That's what these remind me of, but like a richer toffee flavor. They're so good. Now I wanted to mention, the chocolate on the top of mine is a little soft because I used milk chocolate baking chips. If you want your chocolate on top to be hard, like a crisp, really thin, crisp chocolate layer that you bite into it, you hear the crack, then you want to use a milk chocolate bar. And then that way, when it completely cools, you'll have that nice, crisp, thin layer of chocolate right on top that'll snap when you bite into it. So I personally like things a little crispier. So I bake them for 30 minutes, but if you want yours a little bit chewier and less crispy, then bake them for like 25 minutes until it's very, very light brown. Mine was like a little darker golden brown, but if you like them chewier, then just bake them for 25 minutes instead of 30 minutes. These are super easy to make, super simple, super rich and delicious, and they will be an amazing part of any cookie platter that you make this holiday season, or if you just go to someone's house for dinner and you want to take a treat, these are perfect and so easy to make. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.